So a classic production trick in dance music is to use a filter to filter the entire mix, whether that be a low pass or a high pass filter. And we can do this in Logic by essentially putting an EQ onto the master output here, and by moving the in this case low pass filter frequency up. So I'm going to switch this on. I'm also going to give it a bit of resonance, just to kind of give it a bit of a twang on the way up there. And what this does essentially is, if I bring this in, and back down again. So classic for rises and from breakdowns and build-ups. Now the thing is, to do that on the master output isn't particularly that practical, as it's often the case that you won't want all of your mix to filter. You may want to leave some sounds like the kick drum out of the filtering. So the preferred way, or my preferred way of doing this, is to actually put everything that you want to be filtered onto a bus. Now with that in mind here, I've actually got one set up already here. Here's my filter bus 4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put through all of the groove track and leave the vocal as it is. So I can do that by, as you see here, clicking and then selecting this particular channel, holding down Shift and selecting all of these, and going up to the output here, and you can see here that these are actually all routed. If we go through the bus here, they are all routed to bus 4. So this means that everything that is routed to this bus is going to be filtered. Now I'm going to move this EQ across here, and what you will see and hear, just let me bring this window down a bit so we can see what's going on. There we go. Like this, is if I now bring up the EQ, and we bring everything in, I can bring up the EQ like this, frequency, and everything drops in. Now we're going to use automation to do this. There's a couple of things about this really. I mean, the first thing that we're really going to need to automate is switching the EQ on and off. You generally wouldn't want to leave this on throughout the track, as this kind of bump, this Q bump that I've used here to add to the filter sweep, is going to be sitting there on your track all the time. So what we're going to do is automate this. There's a couple of ways that we can do this. We're going to have a look at both of them. The first way is to switch off the EQ and then bring it in when it's needed. So one of the things I need to do here is to make the filter bus, the actual auxiliary channel, available here on the tracks area. So to do this, I need to come to the filter bus, and then I can right click, and then you can also use Shift T. So what we need to do is to create a track. Now this will create a track for the bus in the tracks area, and I can now put my automation onto this. So let's switch this in, and I'm going to come down here and go to the channel EQ. The first thing I want to do is to find the EQ bypass, which isn't showing as it stands actually in the list of parameters. Now if this occurs, there is another way we can do this, which is to make use of the latch automation or the touch automation to bring this in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to latch. I'm going to double click the EQ, and then I'm just going to bring it in, and then I'm going to switch off the EQ. I'm going to bypass it from here, and you'll see that this will write into the automation like that with the bypass, and then I press again like so. Let me just stop that. So what this means is I can leave this switch to bypassed when I don't require it, and then let's say I'm going to bring this in over, let's go in over the last 4 bars here. I can set the bypass, and you can see if I bring up the EQ, you can see this is bypassed, and let me bring in. There you go, you can see that switching in. Okay, now remember, put it back to read before you touch anything else, or you can mess up your automation quite easily doing that. Now, once this is done, I can then come in and drop down another automation lane, and I'm going to come down to the channel EQ, and I'm going to come down here to the low cut, and we're going to go to the low cut frequency, and then I can literally write this in like so. Now, I can also, as another way of doing this, I could also remove the resonance bump rather than bypassing the EQ, and I'll show you what I mean. So just quickly give this a listen. Let me bring this in. Just drop this down. Okay. So, there are other ways we can do this. Now, one of them, as I've said, is that rather than bypass the EQ like this, what you can do is you can remove the Q, which will take the bump out and leave the EQ as it is. So we could reset that to the bottom one there, and then that will get rid of it. That's another method for doing this. Alternatively, you could also just bypass the band. So we could use the same method, and actually if you look down here onto the list of parameters, you will actually find the low cut on and off. My preferred method of doing this is to just get rid of the plugin entirely by bypassing it in total.
Every 2 weeks in the course, an assignment is set.
So once I've done my assignment, which is essentially a track, I upload it for my tutor to download, and he sends me back a DVR, which is a direct video response.
It's a video produced by your tutor that is sent to you personally every couple of weeks while you're studying, giving you immediate feedback on your production.
It's something that enables the students to have a one-to-one connection with their tutor.
You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder, watching what they're doing whilst they work.
And I think this kind of steel can sound is brilliant. I mean, that's a real kind of hook of the track, this. Maybe let's just try recording something in. The response that the tutor gives is completely tailored to the student's style of music or the level that they're at as well. So it might be nice to spice up this drum track by adding a delay, and you can see I've put one here in the return of the drum rack, and if we just apply that to the clap now, you see it has a really nice effect.
If you want to check out the whole range of online courses, go to pointblankonline.net.